Hey everybody, this is Expat, the host and founder of the Arena Productions on Patreon and on YouTube, and I just want to let all of you know, before watching this extra take video with our interview with the developer of Mango Mischief, Acute Mango, the developer, just have some things I want to say about the video before it starts. There were some latency issues when it came to our interview with the developer. And those latency issues were something that was completely out of our control and we could not handle. So we just want to let you know about those latency issues during the video before it starts here. But we wanted to show you this video, obviously, because we had promised you this interview with this amazing developer who's a great guy. And he's developed a great game in Mango Mischief. So please enjoy the video. And once again, we apologize for the latency issues that happened throughout the video. So anyway, take care and enjoy the interview with the developer of Mango Mischief from Acute Mango, the developer. So this is Expat, and enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome into Extra Take, our supplemental show about all things gaming related when it comes to gameplay, and our supplemental series for the Arena Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast. I'm your host Expat, and we have a special guest with us today. So Chris Mango of Acute Mango, the developer of Mango Mischief. So Chris, welcome on in, and thank you for coming into Extra Take.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, and of course, with me, of course, my co-host Burly of Burlyman Gaming. Burly, how you doing?
Doing good.
How was your day out there in Canada?
It was a day.
It was a day. All right. Yeah. Well, the day is just starting for me out here in Japan. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah, we're really excited to talk to Chris about Mango Mischief, of course, his RPG. So, Chris, first, I have a question for you. Of course, I used to be a radio DJ back in the day, in my days in San Francisco, my home city. And that kind of inspired me to become a content creator, of course, the Arena Productions on YouTube and on Patreon. So my question to you is, what inspired you to become a game developer?
I'd like to start off by saying just playing lots and lots of video games growing up. And I mean, RPGs was one of the most popular genres that I would play. There were other genres too. But as you play games for decades and decades, it inevitably happens that you kind of think about your favorite or why certain games might be disappointing. And if you could only, if you could make your own game, what would you do differently? Or you splice together all of your into one, what would you steal from other or emulate from other franchises? And it was just really kind of my passion from growing up being a gamer with my two younger brothers.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I go way back for the Atari 2600. Space Invaders was my first game, so I used to play that for hours and hours on end way back in the day. Yeah, so we got gameplay of Mango Mischief, of course, from Burly, and we're going to show some of that, and then Burly's going to take it away and ask you some questions about the game. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into that. Okay, so Burly, take it away. You got some questions for Chris?
Yep. So I'm gonna just why turn-based out of all the genres to make a game of? Why turn-based RPG?
So I guess the two main reasons would be the earliest RPGs I played growing up were turn-based, the original Final Fantasy type games, the Dragon Quest, Dragon Warrior games, Golden Sun, some other ones, Super Mario RPG, a couple other ones, Quest 64, which is one of my guilty pleasure games. Not a great RPG, but a fun game that I have a soft spot in my heart for. So I think it'd be fair to say that my love of RPGs started with turn-based RPGs. And then the second reason would be, quite frankly, I am not a game developer by trade. And in the grand scheme of things, when I was looking for different game engines that might be able to help me along, not having a background in computer programming or any specific programming languages, computer science, the game engine maker, MV, it was set up to be turn-based, and I was able to tinker with it quite a bit. It was a lot more accessible to me. And given that I was already interested in those sorts of games, it kind of fit in, as opposed to having to learn formal coding or programming languages that would have taken a lot more time for me.
Yeah, you listed some great games, some of the great RPGs that I've grown up playing. Like Golden Sun is one of the games I've played. I can't count the number of times I've played and completed it.
Mm.
But since you mentioned RPG Maker, was that something? Did you just self-teach yourself on this, or did you take like a course on like one of those course sites like Udemy or something like that?
It was, well, I didn't take a formal course. I started by just Google searching and searching which types of game engines had some sort of tutorials on YouTube. There were some other interesting game engines like Game Maker Studio 2 and some other ones. And the one that kind of fit my vision of the game happened to be Maker in general. And then there were a lot of different subsets. There's now MZ, MV, because it's really, really customizable plugins. There's older versions, mostly from tinkering with the game engine myself, and also looking up a lot of good YouTube videos, because it had been out for quite a few years. And it seemed to be the case that every question I could have potentially had was already either preemptively answered by someone in a YouTube tutorial or on the RPG Maker forum, which was really, really helpful too. So just asking a lot of silly questions to people who had been there and done that before, or just trying to figure out the answer on my own by just tinkering with the actual game engine.
So, Chris, question. So, Mango Mischief obviously is on Steam, of course, PC. Now, is this game going to be eventually coming to the other console platforms, like, say, Switch or PlayStation or Xbox?
I wish that would be cool. Unfortunately, the way RPG seems to be set up and based on the plugins I've used, it doesn't really seem to transfer nicely into the other sorts of consoles. Cool. I mean, I play when I've got free time. I play Switch, and be cool to have it. I realize I didn't even do the testing for it, but apparently some people are playing. Seem to be a pretty interesting balance there. But as of there's no plans to put it on any of the.
I see.
Yeah, and this footage actually was all recorded from the Steam Deck. I played it a little bit on my actual PC, but it's mostly been on the Steam Deck because it is just nice to, if I want to sit on the couch or wherever, just pick up and go and play. And for anyone wondering, this does run well on the Steam Deck.
Yeah. That is good to know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I love in your description on your website here about the game, talking about random encounters. I love it. Just enough random encounters to annoy the players who prefer visible encounters, and just enough visible encounters to annoy the players who prefer random encounters. I love that part. That was great. Yeah. So,
I try to really hard in addressing a lot of the absolutely legitimate criticism that certain RPG genres, especially turn-based ones, end up having. And it's addressed a few different times about how the strengths and weaknesses of random encounters and the strengths and weaknesses of visible encounters. And that's specifically addressed in the game, because we start off with the that we tend to towards the visible encounter. And so it was just kind of having a little bit of, I guess, to appropriately upset everyone equally.
yeah. Burly, you got another question? Yeah.
Yeah. Which character in this game was your favorite to write the dialogue for?
Reading the so I think so. I think the easiest for me, I'll just go through them because I don't have a knee-jerk reaction to that. So so Sprig was probably the one who's actually on the screen, probably the easiest to write the dialogue for, because his character straight up like the lawful good, not necessarily one-dimensional, but very straightforward. You kind of know what he's saying. It's very staying on course, say leader of the group. She's cynical, sarcastic type, which was fun to write because sometimes she'll be dismissive or call out people for doing silly things. Iraq was interesting because he experiences, I think, the most fourth wall breaks. I like having those sort of as humor of the game. So it was interesting to abuse his dialogue in those ways. And then about writing her dialogue was she was wordplay going on, and that's something that I like to do in real life. Of my wife and my family and friends. But it was really fun to just lean into a lot of the super lame jokes and like the sound effects of the audience groan and whatnot. So I was able to kind of a lot of different things with each character. I don't know if I could pick just one, but maybe Mero because of the humor, lame, corny dad joke.
I thought that out of all of them, I was going to be like, I bet you that was the one. But I do love the fourth wall breaks in this, and just the comments of the tropes that the typical RPG tropes. Why do we have to do this? It's just a standard thing in these games and stuff like that. I love that stuff.
Cool. Yeah. To do basically, I made a list, and then I found lists online about common over them, and I've seen games do them very, very, very kind of satirizing the genre to make sure I still made a good game and not just poke fun of everything. Make sure that the fourth wall breaks didn't completely detract from the game. But like one example would be there seems to be some sort of PC kind of blocking your path, and in most games you're used to seeing someone blocking your path and immediately knowing you can't go there. Best you can go there, but then so like they kind of force you into a more linear path, which isn't something I wanted to do for the entire game. So for instance, where someone's blocking your path and you talk to them and they say, sorry, you can't pass me, or I'm not going to let you pass. And, my characters kind of look at each other and they say, well, this is 4-on-1. Like we could kick your butt if we needed to. And then he's like, yeah, it's a good point. He just moves off to the side. You can just keep progressing if you want to. You don't have to, but it's just kind of calling out those cliches and to hopefully have the player can guess themselves when they're assuming, because all of the other games have that thing happen. Maybe it's a little bit different in Mango Mischief.
And I like the fact that you have, when it comes to accessibility, of course, you can use like an Xbox controller, you could use a PlayStation controller, you could use a Switch controller to play this game. And that's what I like about it when it comes to accessibility. So that's a really cool thing to have. So
yeah, I'm used to playing. Oh, sorry, I was going to say I'm used to playing mouse and keyboard with any game on the computer, but almost every RPG I've ever played was using a controller. Super Nintendo, N64. Right. Well, not that there's a lot of RPGs for N64, but Game Boy Advance, all of those, PlayStation 2. So I wanted to make sure there was some sort of controller customizability for those who wanted to play the old-fashioned way. And I didn't even know that the Steam Deck was going to even be a thing at the time. Yeah, that was just another happy accident, just another way to give you access depending on how you want to play.
Yeah. So Mango Mischief, excuse me, of course, has been out since June 20th of last year. So almost a year now that this has been out since release. Last question I have for you, Chris, is what is coming down the pipeline? Do you have a new game that you're currently developing, or anything that you're thinking of making in the near future?
So I've been tinkering with. I had been thinking about. So for a while, I'd wanted to make a video game, and I was very, very happy with the way Mango Mischief turned out. To do it as a solo project was really cool because I got to do everything I wanted to. Kind of like checking off the bucket list. I would need a lot of time to put in to developing a new project. I looked a little bit about some other game engines that were a lot more advanced for 3D, like Unity and Unreal Engine 5 just came out. That would require a lot of time. As far as passion projects go, I don't have, whoever has as much time as they'd love to have, but between being a high school math teacher and tutoring, doing all of the other real life obligations and responsibilities I have, and just being present for my friends and family, I don't know if I'd have a lot of time to designate towards creating a new game from scratch. If I were, it would probably be somewhat related to Mango Mischief. I don't know if it would be a sequel. I wasn't intending there to be a sequel. I was kind of tinkering with the idea of actually like Mischief type book, because that'd be another interesting project I thought would be cool. So a deviation from the video game sense, but kind of another interesting challenge for me to try to do just for fun. In the same way, I was really driven because I was very, very passionate about different points along the journey, learning all of the process, having it be an task to do. And I think writing the book and going through all of the steps there too would be another kind of interesting to making this video.
Or even a gaming guide, like a walkthrough guide, because out here in Japan, gaming guides are still, even in like electronic stores and in the bookshops, are very, very popular. So yeah, that might be
that
something.
Would be cool.
Yeah.
I remember having players guides, growing game FAQs, and all of that.
Right.
Just on my YouTube channel through of me playing the game and really process and like my intentions behind it. Yeah. As far as like a master guide would be concerned, yeah, that would be another interesting project. That would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, and all of you viewers out there, please go and check out the official Mango Mischief YouTube channel. And I gotta say, Chris, I love that one video that you put in there with your wife, of course, giving you that like a mural or painting of the Mango Mischief logo there. That was really cool. I really enjoyed that video there.
Yeah,
good stuff.
That was an amazing surprise. Yeah, she is the best. So I collect Nintendo 64 memorabilia, all the games, the custom consoles, all of those things. But I didn't really anything to represent Mango Mischief. And then as an amazing gift, my wife talked to an amazing artist and got this enormous. Essentially, it's a work of art. Basically, it's 3-dimensional, and it's basically the title screen of all 4 kind of characters, pushing forwards in a similar to Trials of Mana type picture. Nice. And yeah, and that's an amazing actual physical. Represents the about 2 years I spent making this game from scratch.
Nice. Burly, any final questions for Chris?
One for the music in the game. Was this something, did you make the music yourself, or was it just like pre-custom music already in RPG Maker?
Yeah. So before Mango Mischief, I fooled around a little bit on Game Maker Studio before RPG Maker, and I made a little like asteroids type clone. There were mangoes you would shoot and they would explode. And I made the music for that game. Interesting and a lot of work and very difficult. And so when I bought RPG Maker M3, it came with a lot of standard background music sound. The music for Mango Mischief, it came standard with the game engine, which I thought was really interesting. So anyone who buys will basically have already. For me, it was a matter of creating. Sometimes I create maps first, and then I found songs from the list really well with the volcano or the basement or the snow areas, and some I had a general idea to make, but then I would listen to the soundtracks, like options, and sometimes it'd be okay. I really like this song. What would a region of my game look like if this was the background music? So it kind of helped me design maps in that direction too. And so that was a lot of really positive feedback from the writing and the combat systems, but also from the music. They really liked, it seemed to be the case that the music matched really well with the different environments, whether you're in a forest area or an open countryside or so having music already pre-created and soundtracks that I kind of liked made it a lot easier for me to fit it with the regions I wanted and to create new regions that I thought would go well with the music.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so want to thank Chris Mango of Acute Mango for coming in and being with us here today on the Arena Extra Take. Of course, his game Mango Mischief. So it's available on Steam. So go and check that out. So I've been your host Expat, along with my co-host Burlyman Gaming. And Chris, thank you so much for coming in. We really appreciate it, and we hope to catch you again sometime. When, of course, if you have a new game or any updates on Mango Mischief. We'd really like to have you again. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yep. So until the next time, this has been the Arena Extra Take, our supplemental series for the Arena Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burlyman Gaming, and our special guest, Chris Mango. We hope to catch you in the next one, everyone. So take care. Peace.
Take care, everyone.
Out.